There we go. Now it is.
She
Yay.
said what she said. Um, yeah. How long have you been doing, when did you get started with, like, when did you want to take on like that, like, mantle of like taking over this like nonprofit that's kind of just been in your family? That's amazing.
Yeah, I it's been in the back of my mind for a long time just because it's such an inspiring, unique line of work that I think can help so many people and that's missing in a lot of areas of our lives as humans. And it is especially important now just with the level of global anxiety for some of
Yeah.
the global issues that we're facing as a society, and also on a level of learning and community that we are starting to lack because of screens and other
Yeah.
distractions that we have in our modern world that are different from what we've ever experienced as a human species in the past. I'm gonna move again because of the light. I don't
Totally.
know why this is so difficult. There we go. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what got me. I've been interested in it for a while, but I think when my grandpa turned 90 was really when the life timing for me sort of worked out in wanting to launch my career in this area. And so I jumped into it, starting a little bit about a year and a half ago, but
Oh
not full time until about a couple months ago.
my God,
Yeah.
new.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
very fun. It's very, very fun. And I've gotten to meet the best part so far has been meeting so many cool people who are doing such important work in different spaces
Yeah.
and trying to figure out how play can help them either further their message or deliver what they're trying to. So, yeah.
Yeah. So has it been like kind of workshops or like their programming, or like I'm just so fascinated in like what the National Institute of Play, like what you guys like are doing.
Yeah. So the National Zoo for Play really is truly the like world-renowned play repository
Okay.
for understanding sort of the hard science and the research behind why play is important for humans and how that can be implemented in our lives. So a lot of what we do is number one, educate,
Hmm.
share the message, help people understand that play is fundamental to being human and therefore give them permission to prioritize it because our society doesn't give us permission to prioritize it.
Yep. Hmm.
And then, so a lot of it's education. And then number two is sort of the implementation plan for
Yeah.
that. So yes, I will go around and sort of deliver keynotes and then do follow-up workshops with folks on helping them understand their unique play personality and then helping them understand how that can help them be a better leader, how that can be integrated into a business culture, a family culture, a learning environment, whatever that may be. So a lot of it right now is through in-person interactions with keynotes and workshops. We're working on building out an online course platform. The online platform, as you know, is not quite as effective, but it can reach more people.
Right.
So, that is something we're in the process of doing now.
That's awesome. I think one of the things that like stood out in what you just said, or is kind of like the permission to like prioritize like play in your life and to like accept that joy. Because I think one of the reasons why I got into improv was to kind of like challenge this idea of like shame and embarrassment and just kind of wanting to be. I think it by nature I'm more of a playful person, like just in
Mhm.
public and with friends. And
Yeah.
oftentimes there's this sort of like this assumed like eye that's kind of like looking at me when like experiencing that playful nature in public, especially of just like judgment, like, oh well, if I do this little dance in the middle of Walmart, I'm probably gonna, like, people are probably looking at me.
Yep.
And so it wouldn't happen all the time, and sometimes I would just play into it, and that's when I'm really like enacting that sort of like just joyful moment. and
That's
uh
awesome.
and so I wanted to kind of like challenge that thought in uh through improv, or just through like this, like, why don't we like engage in this sort of like this performance aspect of just wanting to let go of if I'm doing it in a circle of people who are also wanting to like challenge that themselves and engage in that with other
Yes.
people, then we're kind of already like dropping the barrier of people are judging me. And I'm like, no, because people, I think, are more likely to judge themselves in those moments than to judge other people.
Yes.
And oftentimes will let
Yes.
down their shields when they like see other people engaging in that sort of playful nature. And it was just
Yes.
so like uh it was so obvious and made aware to me in improv when and especially now because I'm in improv like 401, so like I've done it for a year now and I'm like
Oh,
at a certain point in it, and then I wanted to
yeah.
I recently like on Monday did a and went into improv 101 with like the people who are engaging in this sort of practice for the first time, and I can see the difference in terms of just uh where I imagined I was probably at in the one class where we were a little bit more stiff, and Dana Moore, who's our instructor and did improv in like New York for like 10 years and is just this like amazing instructor who was able to like kind of just off the bat like be playful and be so like fluid and just like so big in her movements where you're just like, oh, I'm not used to like just throwing my arms out and shaking around in front of people I don't know. And
Totally.
so and so immediately it kind of like allows you to give yourself permission to like do that yourself in front of other people. And so like I think that part is kind of like the most important parts that people can give themselves, is that permission to like prioritize that for themselves. And
Yeah.
um and I think that's like just a wonderful piece of like kind of empowering yourself to let down your guard and just be vulnerable.
Yes.
And it has to be in kind of this trusting circle to begin with, I would say, if you haven't done it
Absolutely.
before. So,
Absolutely. I think you identified some important things there in your own experiences and maybe things that, that I think about often with play that sort of happen naturally for you, which is really cool. And the first is that play is contagious. When you see someone
totally.
else putting themselves out there and engaging in that playful state, it invites you into the space in a really unique way that's really powerful. It
Yeah.
helps build trust. So
Yeah.
as soon as you're both doing that together and you're being vulnerable and all of that, you start to build a connection literally in your brain with mirror connect with other people. Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay, you froze for a second, which is definitely it's my internet. It's like spotty sometimes, but hopefully that will be better.
I was gonna let it
And
ride
then the
out. I'm like,
third,
we'll get back, we'll connect.
yeah, yeah. And then the last piece is that play enables us and invites us to take risks and to
Yeah,
learn that it's okay to fail and to give us a space to fail that's really safe and that we're in together. And so that risky piece of play, which you're doing every time you're putting yourself out there in an improv setting, teaches us that we can do that and not just in those playful settings, but in life too. And that's so powerful and something that is so hard as humans to navigate if we don't have that space of play to practice it. So I love that you have identified those are some of the biggest benefits of play, and
totally.
and also not to mention that you're being adaptable. You're in it on on the fly and really engaging deeply with just changing in the moment and reacting to your environment in a really engaging way, and that and is what enables creativity. And so you're like, so yeah, improv is such a good example of oh boy.
We're back.
Sorry. We're back. I don't know if it's just been having issues. This should be very stable internet, but apparently it's not.
I'm so sorry. I think we're good. But but yeah, I think one of the things that I wanted to kind of like emphasize is this sort of like connectivity that you have with people where it
Hmm.
kind of like forces you to like build your capacity in terms of just the yes anding of things of like, okay, like I can't, this person wants to engage in this like sort of funny scene or scene that they think is going to be super funny. And
Right.
um my instructor, she's always like, don't be a wasp, which is like don't be like a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant in terms of like we're all standing at the dinner table and someone's doing a weird thing and we're not going to engage with it because it's weird. So
Right.
don't be a wasp and just like accept whatever like is coming towards you in terms of just building that adaptability and being flexible and do the weird thing. Like do the weird thing
Yes.
and add to that weird thing. And you don't
Yeah.
have to do like this what is perceived as the right thing, like and the
Yes.
right way. Like
I love that.
it's always gonna be funnier if you do the weird thing and you sometimes worsen the weird thing, and build on that.
Exactly.
And
I
so
love that.
it builds like capacity in terms of just being able to open up your mind and like be less judgmental and more
Hmm.
accepting of what others perceive as like is going to be a funny situation.
Totally. Totally. To be
Totally.
authentically you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
So, I mean, I think that's why Sarah really wanted us to like be able to like be in conversation and talk about
I
these things
love that.
because it's like something that I've been really engaging with for the last year, and to know
Yeah.
that there is like real like science-based like research behind why this is like kind of like imperative to the like human experience, and especially like now with the loneliness epidemic and just
Yes.
the lack of capacity that people really have for themselves and for others. It's really important to like kind of build that play capacity within each other and with each other for sure.
Yes, exactly. And the way that that can bring us together and help solve problems, I think one of the things that's so tricky is there are so many massive problems for all of us to solve and such a sense of urgency around them, particularly when it comes to climate.
Totally.
And the anxiety that everyone feels, and particularly the younger generation feels about that is so real.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel like this is all I can do. All I can focus on is solving this problem,
Yeah.
and that it's not okay to take a break from that
Right.
and
Yeah.
to let yourself calm down and to let your amygdala calm down and do something fun and whatnot. When actually the science says that taking that break and
Mhm.
letting yourself play and engage deeply with others and build that sense of belonging and trust and community boosts your creativity, boosts your resilience, and boosts your productivity.
Yeah.
So that when you go back to solving and tackling these massive problems that are really hard and really challenging, that you're going to have more resilience to be able to fight through those things. And so it's exactly what we talked about before with just that's you have the permission.
Totally.
It's not a break from your work. It's actually going to promote better work in the end. And so to be able to know that it's okay to take care of yourself in that way, and it's part of the wellness movement, but it's also like a layer deeper than that of being fundamentally human
Yeah.
and making sure that we take a break from those challenges that we face every day in order to solve them.
Totally. And I think like promoting that message is like so important as a reminder for people because I mean, just in the like generation that we're in, just so often it's doom scrolling. It's just like
Right,
I need to be aware of what's going on in the news so that I'm just like an informed person. And
right.
that's important.
It
And
is.
that also comes with needing to balance that out with a break from those things very oftentimes because those things can really like trap you in that sort of like feeling of helplessness and feeling of not doing enough, feelings of
Exactly.
shame oftentimes. These are
Absolutely.
personal things, feelings,
Absolutely.
but like and that's why you have to like balance it out with just that like bringing joy in other moments when it's appropriate. Sometimes it's not appropriate to like bring in a joke when we're
Totally.
thinking about something
Totally.
super important, right? And
Totally.
so but when you after you engage in those moments of like appropriate play with yourself and people, like you do have that sort of like that like refilled cup or just kind of like that empty cup that you can fill with other things
I
and
love that.
be
Yeah.
able to kind of just yeah just recharge and
Hmm.
engage in that sort of like important work.
Hmm.
So no, it's really I think it really often I think just that climate anxiety, and that's kind of what we get into in the climate mental health network, like
Yeah.
just it can be really like it can feel like a lot, and it can feel
All
like
consuming.
not enough work is being done in those spaces.
Yep.
And so that's why I think surrounding yourself and people who also feel that and just
Hmm.
kind of I feel like I can consider myself someone who loves that sort of like important, purposeful, impactful, serious work. And then
Yes.
I'm also able to kind of like, when it's appropriate, bring in that like, okay, like let's check in and like let's take the breath and kind of, bring it, let's, what can joy look like in this moment? And joy can look like very different things, and play can look like very different things, which I was super interested in seeing on the website, just like what play can look like, because I'm just very like in tune with it in the improv aspect and just like
Right?
playfulness nature, but it can look so different in so
Totally.
many different situations.
Totally. There are, yeah, my grandfather identified sort of 8 common play personalities after
Yeah,
taking thousands of play histories for folks, and that doesn't mean they're rigid or profiling or that scientific, honestly. It's just meant to help people understand how to tap into their play nature and sort of trigger that play state. And yeah, I mean, it's everything from people who love to collect things to
yeah,
competitors. So there's so many different types of play. And what looks like play for some people may totally not be play for other people. And I think
totally.
that's a fascinating thing to navigate as well, is right. Like improv may never be playful for some
For
people,
sure.
but competing might be, and for some people competing is just induces anxiety and it's never going to be fun. So for everybody to understand their natural predilections for play and then to tap into those
Yeah,
in moments through childhood but then follow those moments through adulthood,
yeah,
that's the ultimate challenge. And it can evolve over time. So yeah, I think that's a really unique aspect of play, and yeah, and something that can again bring people together for sure.
absolutely. And do you, are there, how would you say you are currently like engaging in that sort of like playful nature like now?
That's a good question. I still love like your improv is the ultimate play. I think that's amazing. I am a kinesthete play personality, which means I'm a mover. So I play by moving my body mostly, and specifically I like doing that outside.
Yeah,
So I love to hike and bike and swim and do all of the like really fun things to move my body. And again, that would be a good example of, for some people exercise is playful
yeah,
and for some it's not. For
yeah.
me, it happens to be. So yeah, I just spent basically 12 hours on my bike in the mountains, and that was absolutely played to me. So
Oh, that-
um it sounds crazy to some people, but that's how I usually engage in it. I'm really good about, I take a break at lunch to
mhm.
swim about 3 days a week. And again, it feels like I shouldn't be doing that. If I feel like, like yeah, it'll only take a couple minutes to eat and whatnot and then get back to work. But really, I found that when I take the break to swim and I swim with a great group of people, that I end up making up the time that I missed because
Yeah,
I'm more productive and energized in the afternoon hours when I'd otherwise be really getting tired. So, yeah, that's how I play. But I'm also a bit of a competitor. I love like a good board game or card games.
yes. No, I
Yeah.
love that. And I think kind of that social aspect of, there's that, I think there's what you're talking about feels like kind of this like personal like recharge, which I think is like so amazing
Yeah.
and is like needed. Like you have to be able to kind of figure out how it works for yourself. And I think I've been engaging in like this very like social part of like playing with others, because I just um I'm very recharged in the like connecting with people and
Yeah,
kind of
that's so cool.
doing it with others and
I love that.
doing it together. And so uh like I think this sort of more independent uh personal like figuring out what fills you up is awesome, and
Hmm.
uh is intimate with yourself,
Yeah.
kind of like teaches you a lot about yourself.
It does. And I think you just hit on something that I'm really interested in. We haven't done this yet, and this is one of my big goals, but is sort of connecting the play personalities and patterns that my grandpa has found with some of the other personality, more mainstream personality assessments.
Sure.
Like, yeah, what does play look like as an introvert versus an extrovert? Or
Right.
how does it look like if you're a visual learner versus, like, so it's just, I'm interested in kind of connecting it with other sort of either learning styles or personality styles or social styles,
Yeah.
be like, to do some research on what types of personalities typically end up in different play categories, and, when social play is recharging versus when social play is overwhelming for depending on the person. So, yeah, I'm like really interested to explore that a little bit more and try and connect it with some of the more mainstream personality assessments because I know people love those. So,
Yeah. That's awesome. So where do you feel like you want to kind of where do you feel like 5 or 10 years from now, like this sort of, you know, this like movement or this mission is gonna look like? And is it like, do you feel like kind of where we're at right now uh has any impact in like kind of where you kind of feel like it's gonna go?
Yeah, I think play is at the outskirts of a lot of different conversations right now and identifying some of the problems that we're seeing.
Right.
Some of the problems with the addictiveness of social media that are
Yeah.
helping to lead to the loneliness epidemic and the lack of community, and just some of the changes we're seeing on a societal level, regardless of many different things. And so I think play is a really helpful solution to a lot, part of the solution to a lot of those challenges that we're seeing in humanity right now.
Yeah.
And so I think what the ultimate goal is in the next 5 years is to bring play back into the consciousness of our society as a public health necessity.
Yeah.
And that if everyone together can identify that and prioritize it, that we can change the culture around what play looks like and how important it is, and that it just takes a group of, people and influence of
Yeah.
leadership in certain areas to say, this is important, we're going to prioritize it together to really start to restore that connection, that resilience, the creativity, just to combat the loneliness and the burnout and many of the things that we're seeing so
Totally.
frequently right now. So,
Totally.
bringing play back into public consciousness as a public health necessity is the primary goal of the National Institute for
Yeah.
Play, and to help people understand that, yeah, it's fundamental to being human and it's not a waste of time.
Yeah.
Then to kind of take that message and then again make it tangible to say,
Mhm.
okay, for something like climate anxiety, for instance,
Yeah.
climate anxiety is so overwhelming and it's so real and it's such a big problem, and it's it's just, yeah, it's so real.
Yeah.
But play helps to restore hope and build emotional resilience and connect us and activate creativity and problem solving and remind us of what we love. And
Mhm.
all of those are fundamental to being able to not only cope, but also to help solve the problem. And
Totally.
so, how can play be part of the solution to some of our global challenges and not just a waste of time?
Yeah. And I think like framing it as this sort of like invitation to like restore and
Hmm.
to kind of just framing it as like a we're building this beautiful table full of like toys and full of like creative like painting and full of like a bike on the table, just like fun things like at this table that we want to like invite people to also like engage with. Because I think
Yeah,
when you like kind of some people aren't in the mood to play, and that's so fine because that's not where you're at, right? And so it's
totally.
kind of just kind of allowing people to reach that point in their like journey or in their moments to be able to kind of be like, you know what, like I need some restoration right now. I need some
Right.
transformation. And like having more organizations like yours to like be that invitation and to be like a you're in the mood to play, like amazing. Here's all of what that can look like. Here's what that looks like
Totally.
for you personally. And so
Yep.
it's just kind of sort of like this really like exciting movement of just, of like opening people's minds to what that can look like and why it's so important for people to do that in their personal
Yeah.
lives.
Exactly, exactly. So it's so refreshing to meet someone like you who lives it and
Yeah.
who shares it with others and who is so understanding of the importance of it and the value. And hopefully, yeah, if anything today gives you the permission to keep prioritizing it too.
Yeah.
And, but it's so wonderful. And yeah, if I can be a resource in any way to you and to your work, or if there's other folks you want me to help share this message to, I can, we'll connect and I can keep you posted on as we make progress with some of the infrastructure piece of what we're doing. But it's so wonderful to hear your stories and to just like understand the way that you play. So that's really cool. And it's been, yeah. So thank you
Yeah.
for
Oh my gosh.
sharing.
No, thank you. Thank you for being open to like this conversation and for allowing Sarah to like connect us together in this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it
Um,
was great talking to Sarah and it was so fun to meet her. And it was like, this is, yeah. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I will leave you. We're like a little bit past the time that you. So I'm just so happy. Thank you so much for connecting with me, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And yeah, So great to connect with you too. And yeah, let's definitely be in touch. But yeah, let me know what you need and best of luck with all the work. It's
Thank you so
awesome.
much,
So,
Mia. So great
all
to
right.
meet you, and good luck
Nice to
with
meet
your
you too.
journey and your mission.
You too. All right.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye.